We are now going to move to our third speaker of the evening, Maureen. Maureen Mo Kasuku is a feminist organizer and digital rights advocate based in Kenya. Her work is a dynamic exploration of the crossroads between feminism and technology, with a keen eye on the intricate interplay of gender equality, social justice, and technological advancement in grassroots communities. We have more webinars coming up, so please stay posted. If you'd like to stay updated, please follow Full Picture Net on socials. It's there in the chat if you'd like to give us a follow. And we'd love to see you at the next webinar and our upcoming events as well.
I was really happy when APC and the Full Picture came together to bring us all together to try and understand the world that we are living in today. And I am one of those people who doom scroll a lot, and I'm suffering from information obesity. There's just so much going on, and there's just so much information readily available on your devices, on your phone, everywhere you look, and a lot of it is really not that great for us. So I was doing a research, and a lot of feminists are writing about how tech-facilitated violence abuse has become very prevalent, and especially here in Kenya for structurally silenced communities such as queer individuals, women, and sex workers. These demographics really face disproportionate harm. And on my video, I went through what misinformation is and disinformation is. Misinformation could be something benign as vitamin C and zinc cure COVID, and that was what we were getting a lot during the pandemic. We know now that it doesn't cure COVID, but it just manages the symptoms. And then disinformation is things like the LGBTQ community in Kenya were solely behind the protests so that they can, quote unquote, take over Kenya. And that is not even a joke. It's something that was going around. And I don't want to call it a distraction. It's more of trying to scapegoat. The state was trying to scapegoat the community. And the cartoon that Agatha shared with us was really on point, because in Kenya and Uganda, the state always try to scapegoat certain demographics, to escape from them being questioned by the citizenry, escape from being held accountable by the citizenry. And unfortunately, they use queer communities as scapegoats. So I don't look at that as a distraction, but rather scapegoating. And with Trump here and a new era of fascism, it's something I've clocked a lot on how certain demographics are being used as scapegoats for the material conditions of people. It's either that X demographic is responsible for you not having a job, and we need to get rid of these immigrants or quote unquote illegal people. I really don't understand how somebody can be illegal. And a case study of Kenya is how right now, when the president announced that IDs would be made available to certain communities in Kenya for the Somali community, a lot of people were acting really crazy and started talking about how this demographic is responsible for terror attacks in Kenya, or they are going to sabotage the government or something. And this is very dangerous misinformation. This is not just something happening in the West, it's also happening here, right here in Kenya. To see the parallels of American fascist politics also playing out in Kenya has been very, very jarring. So Sinda, if you could please share the next slide.
We are on the clocking misinformation, disinformation slide.
Right. So how we're able to clock misinformation and disinformation while you're navigating the internet, and also coming across various kinds of news is to be able to distinguish this. And we've already gone through how disinformation and misinformation is spread. So we could just go to the next slide. A lot of the algorithms, social media algorithms in Kenya, they fuel information disorder in Kenya. So using platforms like Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube, which are designed to prioritize engagement, also incentivize a lot of the hate speech we see on social media. And then this is what we were referring to as doom scrolling. So the more time you spend on TikTok, for example, then you start coming across like really unsettling information. And I noticed once you spend, even if it's just 2 minutes watching a certain video on TikTok, then the algorithm keeps feeding you this. And this is very prevalent in Kenya. And I remember a few months ago, femicide is very prevalent in Kenya, but like at the height of these femicide cases a few months ago, the algorithm would feed people all these so-called manosphere influencers in Kenya who, try to justify femicide cases in Kenya, and they were being pushed at the top of the algorithm because everybody seemed to be seeing them on TikTok and Twitter and just engaging with the video, even if it's just watching it for 2 minutes. Incentivizes these creators, and also it just incentivizes the algorithm to continue feeding you this. And why this is a very big concern of mine is because the prevalent cases of femicide in Kenya are facilitated by disinformation. We have all these creators, very prominent so-called manosphere creators here in Kenya, speaking about women who have tattoos or piercings. They're gonna steal your money. They're doing abortions all the time, and such information is very detrimental to demographics in Kenya because we live in such a conservative society. And in a few days, on May 12th, there's going to be a convening of churches in Kenya and also other Western conservative organizations meeting here right here in Nairobi to discuss queer infiltration, that's what the poster said, and also abortion rights for women. So that is very dangerous, and I've been seeing this being pushed by the algorithm. And no matter how many times you report, nothing is really done. So it's very tragic to see how algorithms are fueling information disorder in Kenya. So you could please go to the next slide. So who gets hurt by all of this? It's women and queer communities primarily, but all of us. All of us are harmed by misinformation and disinformation because these platforms, they prioritize profit over everything else. They incentivize hate. Activists often get flagged for violating policies. At the height of the genocide in Gaza, whenever you try to post the Palestinian flag or just the hashtag Free Palestine, you get flagged because of algorithm biases. And then Facebook, or Meta, the parent company of Facebook, recently announced that they would stop engaging content moderators because they are biased. But that is very dangerous, and especially for women and queer communities in Kenya and the world over. And they're like, the bots are able to detect hate speech, but they don't understand that there's also contextualization, because the bot perhaps doesn't understand what we call sheng here in Kenya, which is slang. The bot doesn't understand all of that. So we need human intervention in these things, because lack of human intervention is what spreads misinformation. So I'm just about to wrap this up with the next slide. So the first case study I wanted to share real quick on how disinformation spread through algorithm biases, spread through social media, disseminates very fast and can cause very grievous harm. Back in 2013 and 2017, the state utilized the services of Cambridge Analytica to try and manipulate the election. And in a very fragile democracy like Kenya, this was it caused damage, irreparable damage that is going to take us years to revise. We went to the streets to protest the finance bill in 2024, but really it was an induction of Ruto's regime, and Ruto was brought about by Cambridge Analytica. So these are real life repercussions of disinformation being spread on the internet and elsewhere. And as you can see, big tech is one of the biggest perpetrators of disinformation online. So we'll look at case study 2, and then I'm just going to wrap this up. So for case study 2, during the Gen Z movement, if you can see my screen, I took a screenshot of one of the biggest government state propagandists we have on Twitter. And this was during the height of the tax protests. So as you know, Kenya is a very conservative country, and sharing this LGBTQ Kanairo propaganda was to scapegoat the queer community in Kenya and try and pin the protests on them. So this they call this the Gay-Z campaign. It was so stupid and so corny, but unfortunately it got a lot of traction. So there's that. And I'm just gonna wrap it up with go through very quickly on strategies of unity and how activists and anyone else fighting against information disorder, misinformation and disinformation we can work together on fighting back. And it's to analyze dominant narratives, to identify what's misleading, incomplete, or intentionally harmful. And I would really like to encourage us to whenever we are talking about queer communities and the state trying, to use queer identity as a weapon, that we should stop calling this distraction, because this is not a distraction at all. People's lives are on the line. We should see it as scapegoating it, and then we should try and change those narratives. So, and finally, on my last slide, so we are going to, community is really all we have. So we have to create inclusive support networks to build broader coalitions, because there is no single issue. Like we are all climate justice activists, we are all digital rights activists. All these things intersect. So we cannot be living in silos and talking in our own little spaces, because the opposition is well funded, the opposition is strong. And if you've seen what is happening in the States right now, fascism is full blown right now. So we have to work together. We can no longer work in silos, but that doesn't mean that we work with people who are harmful to our community. Community is all we have, and we are not outnumbered, perhaps out-organized, but not outnumbered. So we need to get ourselves together and really fight the disinformation and misinformation and information disorder. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Maureen. I'm so glad the big tech finally did let us hear from you. But thank you for reminding us why it's very important to break out of our silos and build broader coalitions, right? Thank you so much.